we're going to go over solving equations using the distributive property. You know you've got the distributive property in an equation when you've got parentheses. To use the distributive property, you multiply. You multiply whatever's on the outside of the parentheses to each term inside the parentheses. Whether it's in the front or it's in the back, you take whatever's on the outside and start multiplying it to what's on the inside. So I'm going to take this 4 and multiply it to 2x. 4 times 2x is 8x. Notice I don't bring that sign down. I actually have to multiply these two terms together to see what kind of sign I'm going to get. I'm going to take this 4 right here and multiply it to -3. 4 times -3 is -12. So do not simply bring this sign down, multiply these two together and see what kind of number you get, whether it's positive or negative. I bring the rest of the equation down. Now I simply have a two-step equation. To solve a two-step equation, I need to do my adding, subtracting first, then multiplying and dividing. The opposite of -12, positive 12. I need to do that to both sides. So I bring down the 8x, bring down the equal sign because this part is eliminated. -68 plus 12, -56. This is multiplying. 8 times x. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. In algebra, we show dividing by using a division bar. These 8's are eliminated. I'm left with an x. -56 divided by 8 is -7. Example number 2. Example number 2, I'm going to take what's on the outside of the parentheses again and multiply it to what's on the inside of the parentheses. This is using the distributive property. I know I have the distributive property because of these two parentheses right here. So I'm going to take that -5 and multiply it to x. -5 times x, -5x. Notice I did not write a sign down. I've seen a lot of videos where they bring this sign down, but you actually have to multiply these two to figure out what you get before you can determine what sign goes right here. This is a -5 and that's a -10. A negative times a negative is positive 50. I bring down the rest of my equation. I now have a two-step equation. To solve a two-step equation, I need to add or subtract first. I need to subtract 50 from both sides. -5x is equal to -125 minus 50 is -175. Now I need to divide both sides because that's the opposite of multiplying. I have multiplying right here. Opposite of multiplying is dividing, and in algebra we show dividing by using a division bar. These cancel out. I'm left with x. -175 divided by 5. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 175 divided by 5 positive 35. Example number 3. Example number 3 confuses some students because there's no number on the outside. There's just a negative sign. So there's different ways you can explain this. You can say that this negative sign simply changes the sign of everything inside. You can say that because you've got these parentheses, this is grouped together, you've got to have a number attached to that negative sign. So that means some people will put a 1 right there. Regardless of which way you do it, you're still going to get the same answer. Regardless if you distribute just the negative or -1, a negative times a negative is still going to be a positive. A negative times a negative is going to be a positive. And then you bring the rest of it down. So you can consider that a 1 right there. That's a -1 being distributed. It's a negative sign being distributed. Or you can simply say, hey, I need the opposite of everything inside those parentheses. Now that I got a two-step equation, I add or subtract first. On this one, I am going to subtract 6 from both sides. This is multiplication. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. I'm going to divide both sides by 3, and I'm going to get x is equal to 6. Example number 4. Example number 4 simply has a fraction. You're going to distribute whatever is on the outside out here. You're going to multiply whatever number on the outside is out here to every term on the inside. So that simply means I'm going to take 1/3 and multiply it to 3x. And I'm going to take 1/3 and multiply it by 6. 1/3 times 3. I can write 3 as a fraction by saying 3 over 1. 3 times 3 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So when I multiply these two together, I'm simply going to write down an x. I don't have to write that 1 in front of it. You can, but later on we need to get in the habit of not writing this 1 right here. 1/3 times -6. 1/3 times 6 over 1. 1 times 6 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. 6 divided by 3, it's going to be a -2 since it's a positive times a negative. I bring the rest of my equation down. Again, I need to do the opposite. Opposite of subtracting 2 is adding 2, and I need to do that to both sides. X is equal to -10.